Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Late Night Sports 96.5 WUFO. I'm Justice General Radford. I'm filling in for Mookie tonight. He is in Florida, but he's going to call in a little bit later. Tonight, I'm in the studio with DJ Suave. And then I got my boy, Blind Spots Finest, Jamal Lewis, in the building with me. We might see Firestarter a little bit later, but for now, we just going to keep it rocking with us. What's going on, Jamal? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. It's been a while since I've been up here. How you been, Justus?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you back up here. We got some information, some news to talk about. I mean, we're in the middle of a 10-3 season. Everything is looking good. I mean, you come off a tough loss at the Rams, but even in a loss, yeah, superstar quarterback shows the league, shows the world why he's the best quarterback in the league.
Absolutely.
Right. Defense gets torched a little bit, but you know what the silver lining is? Matt Stafford, Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Cooper Cup, Hall of Famer.
He had to be a superhero for his team that day.
Exactly.
It just made sense.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
Matt Stafford, Cooper Cup, Puka Nacua, assuming that he continues on the trajectory that he's on. All three of them are Hall of Famers. Hall of Fame talent for sure, right? All of them had to pay to the peak of their powers
to get done what they got
to beat Josh Allen by 2 points and a fumble timeout, right?
Absolutely.
Which I don't all the way put on McDermott, but we can talk about that. So you coming off, this is a tough loss, right? Your defense that never allows more than 20 points or rarely does. And then, I mean, they average 20.5 now a game, and that's after they put 44
Absolutely.
to bloat that number, right? So your defense is not going to do that a lot, right? But Josh Allen has shown that he can do what he did a lot, as far as just scoring ample points. So I don't necessarily think it's as tough of a loss. Wasn't as hard of a pill to swallow as what a lot of people felt.
It's not. We went into what was that, week 13, week 14, 10-2.
Yeah.
You really can't ask for much out of the Bills at this point, as if you want to rewind to September, where we thought they would be.
Right.
So thinking that we'll be in a rebuild and now where we are, it's like that is a game that we dropped, that we could kind of take on the chin and understand, like, we have more to fight for.
Absolutely.
And probably even more to fight for than the Rams.
Absolutely. No, I mean, well, they're not out of it completely. No. They're an extremely talented team who obviously have playmakers on both sides of the ball. So they will be able to make some noise down the stretch, especially now that they're getting more healthy. But hey, man, if there was a way to lose, that was the way to do it. Like, just going,
Josh Allen going superhero mode, taking control of things. We're a couple special teams plays and the defense away from, like,
the defense not getting any stops. Like, that's never going to happen again.
Yeah, in a sense, we did get exposed.
And not only that, but they made some unreal catches in order to, bro.
Yes.
Some of those Puka catches was ridiculous. Cooper Kupp made a catch off his knees for a touchdown. Like, I mean, they had to do some spectacular stuff in order to barely beat us. So I'm gonna keep it as a silver lining, like I said. But we do got some news to talk about, because prayers, as always, to the Pagula family and Kim Pagula not necessarily being healthy right now. She's fighting she's fighting some battles, and absolutely, thoughts and prayers to the family. But in lieu of that, we have seen some minority owners be named to the team, right? So former Toronto Raptors legends Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter both become minority owners of the Buffalo Bills, which I think is dope as hell, right? Not only do you get two black new owners in the league, but they happen to own my team. You know what I mean, right? They right up across the bridge. They made their names right across the bridge in Toronto. Two of the best athletes to ever exist, right? Vince Carter just got his jersey retired over there in Toronto, so big props to them. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that? I think it's cool as hell. Really do.
I think it's cool too. Two of our biggest basketball stars ever.
Yeah.
But it's even more sweet because of what you just said. They were right there,
Mm-hmm.
so they got an opportunity to see the Bills grow into what they are now to this point. So I feel like obviously it's a good investment on their behalf, right? Because everything is money driven in 2024. Sure. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see some different faces especially some minority faces and minority ownership.
And not only that, but
Right.
Buffalo is not known for like big names. You know what I mean? So like Josh Allen, Von Miller, Mario Williams, T.O. These are like the biggest names we've ever seen in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? So to get two bona fide superstars, Hall of Famers, you know, to come and be owners is pretty cool. All right, so there was this known as the best coach of all time, right? Very interestingly, he signed with. I want to make sure I got this. I know it was a North Carolina college.
UNC.
I think it's UNC. It is UNC?
Yes.
All right. So Bill Belichick inks a deal with University of North Carolina.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that before I tell more?
So to give a little more context to the people out there, Bill Belichick comes to UNC with a organizational Bible of sorts, is what they are describing it as. A whole regimen on funding, what it would take to win.
He wanted this.
Yes, it's something that he wanted, but to give my actual thoughts, it's actually a very peculiar situation. I thought that him going on a TV and being like in different broadcaster roles was to set up to show NFL teams and just the general public that he is a softer guy and that he's not as overbearing as a coach as he's been described to be.
Right.
So he could potentially get back into coaching in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's confusing to say the least. It's confusing to why Bill Belichick, after 45 plus odd years of NFL coaching experience, will go and be the coach of UNC.
That was odd to me too. Excuse me. It made me believe that like maybe he took a temp check around the league and was like, all right, who's going to fire their coach? Who's having a bad season?
Right.
Do I want to coach any of these teams? Do any of these teams want me to coach their team?
Right.
And he was like, all right, let me take my chances in college. But from what you just said, he came in with a whole game plan.
Yeah.
It sounds like this is what he wants. So, I mean, we got a caller on the line. The fire starter is in the building. What's going on? You on the line, Dre? I can't hear you, bro. What's up? What's going on? How you doing, man? Yeah. I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time for me. Mm-hmm.
We get more opportunities for black trainers. Dre, it sounds like you moving through a snowstorm.
Word. Now that we got black owners, now what is that gonna? What was your question?
Does that create opportunities for black media or black journalism? I want to say is what he's asking.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was about to say you can only hope so, right? But they are minority owners. It's not like they movers and shakers yet, I don't think. But I think that them being in that position certainly lends to the possibility of it. Absolutely. You know what I mean? These are NBA players, specifically guys who weren't, I'm pretty sure both of these guys were, comes from not great circumstances. And, they turn rags to riches, et cetera. So they have a perspective of the other side and, can recognize, all right, the opportunities are there to be given. And you will hope that they would use that influence to do so. But I mean, hey, I don't know either of these fellas, so I couldn't really say whether they will or won't. Right. But you would certainly like to think so.
I would definitely hope that they were lobbying for for a black voice and for us to get more opportunity. I understand that viewpoint, Dre, and where you're coming from in that instance. But kind of like Justice said, with them being minority owners, I don't want to say small, but with them having a small portion of the pot, it's like I feel like this is the step in the right direction more so than the actual solution or the resolution to us not having a bigger voice or a bigger platform, as we should though. We should, and I will hope that that's something that they are lobbying for,
Yeah.
even the owners that aren't black owners.
Yeah, and to me, not only that, but this move just kind of tells me that there's a game plan going forward where I'm not necessarily saying Pagula is trying to sell off the team or get out of it or whatever the case may be, but maybe he's trying to take less responsibility on as far as it goes. I'm not sure if this is a Toronto Raptors promise to, Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady for, playing there and signing there or whatever the case may be. But I feel like it is a moment for Pagula to say, all right, let me kind of, delegate some of this responsibility to other people. And it just happened to be two, basketball legends. All right, I don't hear Dre anymore. I don't hear that thunderstorm he is walking in. So all right, let's go back to Belichick. So basically what Jamal was saying is that Bill Belichick is coming in with a game plan. He is going to North Carolina. He's trying to figure out the budget and trying to figure out how to make this a winning program, right? And we know that Bill Belichick knows how to create a winning program. We've seen him do it. In college, you get more control than you get in the NFL, especially if you aren't. Well, I mean, Bill Belichick. You know what? That might be what it is.
Right.
The control aspect, right? Because nobody in their right mind is going to give Bill Belichick power over GM again after what happened at the end of his Patriots tenure. They're not going to want him to be GM and coach him. Like, you can be head coach or GM, or I don't even think they would say GM. So you can be our head coach, but I think Bill Belichick is so used to control, and he's like, I'm the greatest coach of all time, so I want control, and maybe this is where that, fits in the game plan of going and coaching out of college. It just seems like a weird step to me personally. Like, you're the greatest coach ever. I feel like you could retire and nobody's going to touch your legacy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to go to college confuses me a little bit. Not really sure what that's about.
I agree. I feel like it's definitely something that can put more of a stain on his legacy.
Yeah, what if they trash?
Exactly.
What if UNC go like 3-9 every year? Like,
let's see what their record was this past season, and I'm gonna read a little bit.
Like, if they were a good team, because like I said, also, you could use that as a measuring stick of success to see what they were last year, and then week comes in to be.
See, they were 13th in the ACC.
That's not good.
Season. Yeah, very mediocre, 3-5.
Okay, 3-5. Okay.
No, excuse me. Overall, that was just in conference.
In conference, they were 3-5.
Overall, they were 6-6, or 500.
So literally, the definition of mediocre.
Average, yeah.
All right. And then so Bill Belichick comes in, you 8-win, 9-win team next year. And
how much does that move the needle?
See, if Bill Belichick could go to college and be Nick Saban, then all right, yeah, for sure. But if he goes there and he's kind of like a Kirby Smart or you're like, all right, cool, I guess, But I don't even know if he would. I can't say. He might go there and be the truth, but I don't really see it. I'm gonna be honest.
Bill Belichick will be 73 in April.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Like I said, coached just under 50 years in the NFL. Multiple champions. Yes, just under 50 years in the NFL. 48 to be exact. So it's yeah.
Nah, that's weird. That's weird. You 73, bro? Go lay down. Like, I mean, I ain't telling him what to do, the man to do what to do with his life, but like, I don't know. That don't make sense to me. But
so we have from the UNC official site that about 2 hours ago, Bill Belichick actually signed his actual deal. So 8-time Super Bowl champion, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time, dynastic all time. Yeah.
See, you know why I was upset when I read that?
He's the second winningest coach in NFL history.
Yeah. I think he had like 90 games to win before he got
something like that.
Yeah,
it's under 90. It's under 90.
Okay.
It's just under 2 seasons worth of games, I want to say.
So that's another confusing thing as to like why are you not going back to the NFL where you could catch that record and be immortalized more than you already are? But it is what it is. You know why when I saw this I was a little bit upset? Because if Sean McDermott does something stupid in the playoffs and is the reason we lose a game, would you be all right? Let me ask you this question before I ask you the other question.
Mhm.
Let's pretend in another universe, Bill Belichick has been our coach since Josh Allen was drafted.
Right.
And the circumstances were the exact same in terms of where you ended up in the playoffs, right? So you think about AFC Championship versus the Chiefs, divisional game versus Chiefs, etc. How many of those games, like between 13 seconds, the game last year where Tyler Bass misses the field goal, how many of those games do you feel like the Bills could have won if Bill Belichick is the coach?
Let's say maybe 1 or 2 more.
1 or 2 more. So you saying that the Bills basically could have been to the Super Bowl 1 or 2 times if Bill Belichick is coach?
When you put it like that.
How many times?
When you put it like that, yeah. I think coaching is all the difference. I do think coaching is all the difference, and defense wins championships. There's a lot of people that are still calling for McDermott's job even today over just different decisions, and you can see it even up to last Sunday. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the inconsistencies. It's not knowing what we're gonna get out of our defense on any given Sunday. But another thing that people do have to take into account is the defense is makeshift. There aren't any superstars.
For sure.
We have a Von Miller in his 10+ years.
See, I less so blame him for that. I feel like he is a phenomenal defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Coordinator for sure.
Top 3 in the league defensive coordinator, right? And really leader. You know what I mean? He's a fantastic leader. But when it comes to like decisions to be made late in the game, a close game versus a good team, he has got a bad batting average. Yeah. He does. He's got a bad batting average. So that leads me to believe if you take this exact team and you give it to Bill Belichick over the last 4 or 5 years, I think we got about 2-3 Super Bowls, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's actually a good assessment, and that's something interesting to think about. But it's just too much what if.
It is definitely a what if. But see, the thing about it is, right? You look at Patrick Mahomes. What does Patrick Mahomes have that nobody else has?
He has Andy Reid. Absolutely.
That is massive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you take maybe the most talented quarterback that's ever touched the football in Patrick Mahomes, right? And then you give him Andy Reid, right? And then you take maybe the most talented quarterback to ever touch the football in Josh Allen. You give him a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I love Sean McDermott. All right. I do. I genuinely do. But my thing is Sean McDermott, because he's a defensive coordinator, he's gonna have a Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is gonna have Josh Allen absolutely go ape, he's gonna go crazy in the season. And then Brian Daboll is gonna be like, I'm responsible for that.
Exactly. But I'm gonna go be a coach.
I'm gonna be a head coach somewhere else now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, dang, we gotta Ken Dorsey is over there. Let's go. And then he tries to sabotage your team. And then you're like, all right, he wasn't the right decision. So let's pray to God that Joe Brady is the right decision, right? And then you're like, we got one in Joe Brady. Joe Brady's cool. What are you about to say next season, bro?
Here we go.
We're going to be a head coach somewhere.
Here we go.
So we have an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So because, Joe Burrow got Zach Taylor, right? John Harbaugh, I don't care. He gonna get it done, right?
Absolutely.
So, the 49ers got Shanahan. Matt Stafford has McVay. We saw what Stafford and McVay can do to the peak of their powers,
absolutely.
Right?
Oh, well,
Josh
in the championship game a couple years ago.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
50-something. And so we see all this. We saw what Ben Johnson is doing with the Lions, right? And it all looks so fantastic, but we're gonna lose a coordinator every season and a half.
Right.
And there's like no permanent fix except to get rid of McDermott. And it hurts. I really, really want McDermott to bring us to the Super Bowl so that I can stop having to believe this. But if he keep being the reason we lose, then like I gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a really big fan. I really love what he's done for this team, the community, the culture.
The culture as
But,
well. But
like, bro,
I understand to the point that you're saying.
You know what?
If it's hurting us more than it's helping us, we gotta get rid of it.
That's so. Here's the analogy I heard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, young Mark Jackson draft Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Right? You bring in Harrison Barnes, right? And you develop this team, and this team is real good. You're like, oh wow, the team guys really talented. They could, maybe make some noise one day. Then Mark Jackson leaves, and then Steve Kerr comes in, and now this is the greatest team that has ever been assembled.
Right.
And it's like, is Sean McDermott Mark Jackson?
Yeah, I feel like he's been there too long, and he's actually helped develop culture.
I agree.
I don't think Mark Jackson was there long enough to take credit for the culture that they.
I would argue that Mark Jackson started the culture that is currently there, because I don't think he developed it, but he started it. He started, with the Steph Curry. All right, put green light. Klay Thompson, green light. Let's try to get threes up. Let's do this. Let's do that, and help turn Steph into a superstar. Steve Kerr came and basically expedited ascended it. Right. But I feel like Mark Jackson started it, and again, I really want McDermott to win the Super Bowl so that I don't have to say this or feel this way. But it's like, bro,
until he does, and that's even on brand or on topic to the conversation that I have with some of my friends regarding Josh. It's like, to be really solidified and compared to those guys that are our greats that we look at, especially even somebody that he's being compared to week in and week out in Pat Mahomes, you gotta win a championship.
Yeah.
I could care less about an MVP. It's nice but that's an individual award. Seeing a championship brought to Buffalo will be something different, because we're one of the only franchises that don't have one.
Yeah,
it just will boost morale. It's just a lot.
And we're one of the most passionate franchises in the world. I don't care about the sport, regardless of sport. We got like soccer team type
best fans in America
for sure. So just real quick, and then we'll move on and talk about the Bills and Lions game, right? Josh Allen has lost the games with these stats: 342 pass yards, 3 tuds, 82 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. All right, so 420 plus yards and 6 touchdowns. He's lost the game. 392 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 68 rushing yards. He's lost the game.
That's an AFC championship.
That was in timeout. I'm sorry, that was in and 0 turnovers. That's what that is. I don't remember what that is.
Okay.
It doesn't say what game it was. It just yep. And so he's lost one with 339 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 81 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And then he's lost the game with 308 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 109 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. These are games he's lost.
Right. And in comparison to that, if I can just butt in for a second, if you think about it, it's the same thing that we're seeing happen with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He could be in MVP contingency because quarterback winning is a quarterback stat. At the end of the day, winning. That's
what they say.
So in the games that he had, that Josh had those stats that you just named, those stat lines, it means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It means nothing when you walk away and we took an L, even if it's a close L. No moral victories. Like even last Sunday, like when we sit down and when we have the conversation of what are the biggest takeaways. At the end of the day, we knew that Josh was great walking into it. We just didn't know that the exact outcome was going to be 6 touchdowns in the air.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Flew all the way across the country.
That's a fact. You're right about that.
And took an L. It's like it's the similar sentiment, because if they win maybe 3 more games, he's probably blowing Josh out of the water for some of those.
Nah, he would. They would. What are they, like 5 and 6 and 7 right now?
5 and 8.
They 5 and 8. That's nasty. Nah, they can't be 5-8. Absolutely. There's
6-8 at most.
Yeah, that might be. If they 5-8, I'm roasting them.
Well, they did just win they just beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I saw that.
6-8.
So wow, they're 5-8. That's disgusting. So if they were like 9-4,
it'd be different. Yeah.
If they were 9-4,
he's having a monster season, putting up those stats
for sure. But that's a yes. You're right, and I'm not even going to disagree with that. I'm definitely going. I'm a cop to that. But I will say, the defense is trash.
You have to do if the defense.
If the Cowboys with Cooper Rush is going crazy on you, it's an issue, right? They should have won that game, but because the dude touched the ball on the play, they lost, right? I agree with you, but I will say there is something to be said for Josh Allen's best receiver to be Khalil Shakir, who I love in my heart, dog.
Absolutely.
But Jamar Chase is something completely different, bro.
Yep.
T. Higgins even is something completely different.
When you have 2 number ones and a superhero at quarterback, it's hard to beat. But when you don't have a defense, you're easy to beat. When you can't score more points than the other team. But
I also gotta say, all right. So here's the thing. But what you just said, right? The Bills don't got no superstars on defense. We got no blue chip players. It's all scheme. It's all strategy. It's all just McDermott putting people in the right positions and say, "Yo, stand here, and something good is gonna happen, and you got to make that play."
And that's when you are susceptible to being outcoached. I think
for sure. Because
and you could just. Because you got a superstar quarterback and 2 number ones.
But yes, that's what I was about to say.
Here and go bombs away because you have a conceptual defense. You don't have
we got better
stars.
You might have the X and O's, but we got the better Joes. We got Cooper Rush, Bujan Nakuba, Kyron Williams, and Matt Stafford. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they could be in the right position all they want. I know what position you're going to be in, and my guys can make a better play.
I'm going to put my guys in better position to make sure that you guys are in position.
Because
at the end of the day, some of those one-on-ones with Rasul looked bad on Sunday. It just did.
He had a bad game.
Really bad.
He had a rough day. He did.
Our whole defense secondary had a really rough day, but I think we'll bounce back. And I think if there was a time, there's never a time to lose. Excuse me, Bills fans out there. I'm a Bills fan myself, but if there was a time to lose, you guys. Coming into that game 10-2 and leaving out 10-3 and going into Detroit, I'm not mad at it.
If we beat Detroit, it really wasn't that bad.
We knocked Detroit off.
Yeah,
we knocked Detroit off for sure.
I think we do. But if we beat Detroit, then that Rams loss wasn't that. Of course, you want to race for the number 1 seed, and I do understand that. So it's impactful in that way. But I feel like for morale's sake, I don't really think it's a big deal if you go into the playoffs with a Rams loss where they have to score 44 points, make unreal plays, and get favorable calling down the stretch to win.
In the ideal world, we win. The Chiefs lose to the Chargers.
Yeah.
And we're talking.
And in the ideal world, they call that false start. They got to kick a field goal. Now they up by 6, and now Josh goes down and scores a touchdown. It's a completely different game.
In the ideal world, we don't let them convert on 4th and 5.
Oh my God! Or 3rd and 9, or 3rd and 11, or 3rd and.
The Rams coming into last week, just to give the fans a little more context, the worst team on 3rd down in the league.
They're like 90%.
And they went 90% on the Bills. So we couldn't stop anything.
Couldn't stop them to save our lives,
couldn't stop anything.
Every 3rd down, it was like, watch, 17 about to get this. About to go to Puka Nacua. They go to Puka Nacua, and you're like, I knew it. I already saw it coming. I knew it. So that's just what that was. So like, we could actually get into the Lions game right now, right?
Let's get into the Lions game.
Buffalo Bills going to Ford Field, take on the red. The red is not even the color. White hot, orange hot, blue hot. What do you want to call it? Them boys on fire. Right? The Detroit Lions is absolutely going crazy right now. They got a crap ton of injuries, granted, but they went from blowing teams out, and now they're just winning games. You know what I mean? They win every game. Since like week 3, week 4, week 2 or week 4 or something like that. They won every single game. Oh no, actually for them it was week 2. Ever since week 2, they've won every single game. Jared Goff looking like I actually saw his numbers today, and I was not MVP candidate. He got double the INTs Josh got. He got less passing yards, he got less passing yards, less touchdown, or less total yards, less touchdowns.
Yes.
And he threw 5 picks in one game, which is absolutely bonkers and honestly should take you out the MVP race. But he is certainly MVP like candidate worthy. If he didn't have one game and those 5 picks were scattered over like 2 or 3 games, I would see him in the conversation.
And I would say that's why universally Jared Goff is regarded as pedestrian.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I mean that's probably not the best word to use, but
I think that's what a lot of
pedestrian
people think
in the sense of he's a quarterback that is gonna make sure that you stay on track.
See, here's the thing. People, I feel like people have that perception of Jared Goff, but to me, it's like I watched Trey Lance go into San Francisco and not be able to get it done.
Right.
So you got a supremely talented quarterback who is in the most quarterback-friendly position you can be in,
yep,
and can't get it done, right? So now I got to look at Brock Purdy a little different. Like, all right, you might think he trash, but he getting it done.
Absolutely.
He making some crazy throws, right? So then you look at Jared Goff, and it's like, the Rams. Sean McVay was Shanahan before Shanahan, right? So Sean McVay gave up on Jared Goff because he couldn't get it done, even though he was taking them to like 10, 11, 12 win seasons and Super Bowls, right? But he was like, Jared Goff can't get it done. Give me Matt Stafford. You can have Jared Goff. Right. And then Jared Goff is like, all right, cool. You know, I'm about to basically he does a Sam Darnold, right? And he goes in, he resurrects his career, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. So he got it done with the Rams and he got it done with the Lions. I don't think we can say that he's a pedestrian quarterback anymore. I feel like you have to put respect on his name. He's done it with 2 different teams. Granted, he had amazing situations in both. He got lucky. He got lucky, but you can't help, what's put in front of you. Like, he got it done whether you like it or not. I don't think he's got it done more times than he hasn't gotten it done, actually.
That's true. That's true.
So I got to put some respect on Jared Goff's name, man. That's a lot of people kind of out here, like, they put Jared Goff in like a 3rd tier type of, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it from a talent standpoint, but from a production standpoint, you have to put him in tier 2 at least.
Sitting at 12-1, going against the 10-3 Bills at home. It should be interesting. It should be interesting to say the least. I'm very much so biased. I'll be honest. I want the Bills to go in and put up more than a good fight. We need a sizable
an impressive
win.
show out.
We need an impressive, sizable win, sort of like our outing against the Chiefs earlier this season. Mm-hmm. And we need to walk away. We need to walk away 11-3.
But see, the Bills is weird. So, like, going and allowing 44 points to the Rams and then blowing out the Lions is something the Bills will do.
Yes, absolutely.
The Bills are super weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, they'll go out and they'll blow the doors off of the Steelers and then lose like the Colts or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I genuinely do believe we're about to run over the Lions. And, like, I don't want to, like, have
the conflict, though, Justus.
What's up?
The conflict, we can't stop the run. We haven't been able to in years. We can't stop the run. So, with the Lions' powerhouse offense, being even compared to the old Rams.
So, all right, here's my thing, though, because when you look at it, like, the Rams had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is not either one of those.
No.
And then Jameson Williams
I'm talking about the greatest show on turf.
I know. I'm getting to that. Because you cannot load the box against Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. You can't. There's no way. It's impossible. Especially if both of them are on the field, it's the wraps, right? And then they blocking, like, you can't, right? So there's already a disadvantage with that, right? But then, like, you could commit to the run a little bit with Detroit, because you kind of got an idea. Jared Goff is not a magician, like we just said, right? He's not going to make the same throws that Matthew Stafford is going to make, right? So if our defensive line wants to show up, and if they can put even a little bit of pressure on Jared Goff, I feel like that's going to really fluster him. And then if we can, like, stop them on early downs,
yes,
if we can stop the run,
we can just get off the field, make
force them in the 3rd and long,
yes.
Force Matt Stafford force Jared Goff to have to drop back and scan the field and look for his people while knowing that there are guys coming after.
You're not taking them for going nowhere.
Right, exactly. You're not moving out the pocket. It's raps. Like, yeah.
Throwing the ball or going on the floor.
Exactly. Exactly. So if because Matt Stafford is a little, even when we put them in like passing situations, Matt Stafford made an unreal throw and Puka Nacua made an unreal catch, and it was like, how the hell do you defend? You can't defend that. I don't care if Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander's baby was out there. You can't defend it, bro. Like, there was no way to defend some of those catches. Yeah. So I kind of take that with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of,
with the Lions team being as banged up as they are, I'm not sure of the injury status on our guys. I know Keon Coleman was dealing with the wrist.
Keon Coleman and Kincaid were both full time at practice today.
So we got our young stars back. You know, Kincaid in his second year, Coleman in his first year. I feel like we should see a lot of complementary offense, but that takes me back to this past weekend, Justus, right? And not having those guys. Our offense was not the problem.
Right. Agreed.
I mean, yes, we were stagnant at points because we were down 17 at a point in time. I believe it was 14-31 at a point. That I could be off, but I think that's what it is.
It was. We were down by 17.
We were down.
by 17.
And I'm like,
I think it was 7 to like 24.
Something of the sort. And our offense was not the main issue of last Sunday evening. So we got to get some things together. Sean McDermott has to show his hand this week.
See,
this is the week that he shows his hand.
That's the thing, though.
Because you don't want to peak. You don't want to be one of those teams that just peaked out. But see,
that's the thing too, because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, the Bills might be spiraling and stuff like that." And I'm like, "What? Just put up 42 points." You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Offense is as good as it gets, and you're getting back to your 3 best pass catchers. So, and that was my thing.
It was like when you can't put the ball in the paint.
Yeah,
you can't score.
Yeah, that's when you spiral. I don't care what your defense is doing. If you can't score points, it's over.
Because the other team could score more points than you, and they're gonna win the game.
Right.
Whoever scores more points wins. I'm sorry.
No, you good. And that's kind of my point about the Joe Burrow situation, right? Mm-hmm. I give it to you. Joe Burrow is balling out of his skull right now, out of his cranium. Not only that, but you got 2 superstars lining up in the huddle next to you, right? You got a pretty good run game too. Chase Brown is no slouch.
These last two games, yes, but no run game.
Ain't no slouch.
I'm agree with you.
And not only that, but they throwing 50 times a game.
Absolutely.
Because they have to. They have to. That's why his numbers look stupid, is because they have to throw. And not only do you have to throw, but you have 3, excluding Gesicki, 3 spectacular targets to throw to. So get it done, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Yes. Like, if Josh Allen's defense was scoring, perfect example. Josh Allen's defense just allowed 44 points, and people blaming him because he couldn't score 45.
Right.
He couldn't score 45 with Khalil. I love Khalil Shakir. I'm keep leaving him out of this, honestly. Right. I'm leaving him out of this. He couldn't score 45 points with Matt Collins. Amari Cooper also had a hell of a game, so shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? But it's not Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's not. It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's not Nico Collins. It's not Tyreek Hill.
And it's even more not funny, but it's ironic because I don't see a reality where that's Josh's reality. Where the Buffalo Bills have a juggernaut at quarterback and 2 superstar wideouts. I don't see that.
It would have to draft it.
Exactly. Yes.
They would have to draft one.
But his playing style, Justus, and I'm talking about Josh Allen, is kind of more so built to be that guy to just will your team to win. Because
it's a lot of scramble drill.
Even look at Pat, right? Since Tyreek is gone,
he had to be a magician.
He had to be a magician, and he's making things happen down the stretch. Within the last 3 minutes of the game, you know when he has the ball in his hands, you're gonna win, regardless of having 2 superstar receivers like some of these other guys do have.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what separates the elite from the middle of the pack guys.
So I feel like what you're saying is that Josh Allen, his strength is not on time passing. His strength is get out of the pocket, scramble drill, make something happen.
Absolutely. I would say that Josh Allen's strong suit is making a play for the Bills.
I agree.
Make a play.
So here's my thing. Because I agree with
his
you.
downfall sometimes.
No,
too,
well, yeah, of course. But just in trying to make a play, you bound to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's made a lot less mistakes this year, so he's definitely improving in that. But I would also say that he was really good at on-time passing when he was throwing to Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs was a superior wide receiver while, for the time being, right? So if you have a superstar like Jay Jettis or whatever the case may be, they're gonna win their routes. So you can get better on-time throwing. So Joe Burrow looks like Joe Montana. He looks like Dan Marino because he's throwing to two terrific wide receivers who beat their corners. So, I kind of look at that and I'm like, all right, yeah, I give you credit. Like, you're a fantastic quarterback, but let's see what you can do without two Hall of Famers. Right.
But to add on to that, you just see how the guys that are surrounding him are unproblematic at this point. And if you want to compare the two offenses, the Bills offense right now and the Chiefs offense right now, in that regard, there's nobody that's crying. There's nobody that's crying. But when you go down to Philly, AJ is gonna make a fuss. If Chase is the Triple Crown right now, but in the season that they're having, you just looked and said that the Bengals are 5-8. If they were 5-8 and he had no stats, you would hear about it.
Right,
and they're not gonna win anything.
You're right, but you know why he's not fussing? Because they didn't pay him. They didn't pay him, and they stupid for not paying him, because now you're gonna have to hand him a blank check. Absolutely. I was on Twitter and I was like, if Jamar Chase become a free agent, bro, Bagula better sell butt if you have to, bro. Listen, man. I don't care what you got to do, but you better get Jamar Chase. Hey,
make something happen.
Hey, make something happen. Half owner of Niagara Falls now. Like, you make it happen, bro. Like, so if Jamar Chase becomes available, you have to do that, right? But that's how you get the double wide receiver, is because you have to sign Tyreek Hill and draft Jalen Waddle. You have to sign or trade for AJ Brown and draft Devonta Smith, right? You have to draft T. Higgins they drafted T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, so shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? But point being,
Rams, same situation,
Yeah, you have. Well, they drafted Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Both came out of nowhere, by the way.
Find it in the draft.
Yo, you know, I saw, bro. We drafted Justin Shorter before Puka Nacua was drafted. He was like 50 picks. So that means if Justin Shorter was off the board and we picked the wide receiver, it could have been Puka Nacua.
Do you see a high or low scoring game
for the Lions?
For this Lions Bills.
I feel like because it's going to be indoors, it's going to be a high scoring game. I just don't think that the Lions are going to score a lot. It feels so weird. When I tell you, when I watched the film, the Rams had to make some spectacular plays. Yes. Like, the defense was on them like white on rice. Like, it wasn't bad defense; it was just ungodly offense.
Their offensive players were better than our defense.
Yeah, they were better than like anything. Like they were off. They were on one. Yeah, absolutely. They were S tier that night. There was nothing anybody. I don't care if the 85 Bears stepped on that field. The Rams are going to score 40 points on you. So I don't think that that's going to be something that we guys deal with every week. So I do think Amon-Ra St. Brown is extremely talented. Sam Laporte is extremely talented. So we'll see. But first, we're going to go ahead and take a commercial, and we'll be right back. All right. I know, right? My mouth dry as hell. Yeah. Can you grab me some too? Yep. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem. We definitely we definitely should talk about the Heisman.
Oh yeah, we could go over that. We'll finish on that.
Heisman, seeing where Shador and
Travis. Yeah.
that's gonna be. Let's see.
I want to see who will win.
You don't think they're just gonna give it to him? I think narrative.
I feel like they're gonna get him
What
just
we
based
do-
off of revenue.
narrative and what we do is again, if you don't follow it and see it, you'll be blind. It's kind of like I mean, bad. The thing that pissed me off most about this whole season was tight end day.
Mm.
You
Niggas
just
went
know
off.
it. You know they tell you it all week.
Them niggas went
You know
off.
it, and you don't bet.
Yeah, they went off, bro. All them tight ends went
Every
off.
tight end, 6+ catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Bro, all the good tight ends
Getting
scored.
off.
All of them scored.
So,
all the good
so
tight ends
my
scored.
point of bringing that up is just narrative, bro. If you don't follow narrative, you're gonna be the only one behind.
Yeah.
They about to get at man. They about to get at man at that trophy.
Yeah.
And they'll be wrong. Genty was cool.
That boy different, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's the.
You gotta be nice to get the ball that much.
What's going on, everybody? We back with Late Night Sports here on WUFO 96.5. I'm Justus General Radford. I'm in the booth. My man Jamal Lewis, and we got DJ Suave in the building. So we talk about Bills Lions here. Lions 12-game win streak, but the Bills 7 straight games, 30+ points. Lions defense little bit injured. The team is a little bit injured, but this could also be a Super Bowl
Matchup
preview. Yes. So Jamal. Let's say it is a Super Bowl preview. Let's skip ahead 3 months, 2-3 months, and let's say Bills Lions Super Bowl. We learned in the first game. What happened?
What did we
learn in the first game? If we in the Super Bowl right now, and I'm asking you, Jamal, when we watched that game in December, what did we learn?
I would say that this is the week that Josh Allen sold up the MVP trophy for sure. I would say that we see the flaws in the Lions. We see the flaws in the Lions. We see what the Bills are actually made of. I would say in this game, because coming off of a tough L, we can't lose back to back.
No,
I don't feel like we could afford to lose back to back. And looking back, being in the Super Bowl and looking back, I would say that we learned the future of our head coach too. It's a lot. I think it's a lot. I think this week determines a lot. And maybe I could be dragging it, but I don't think we are. I feel like with us coming this far, thinking back in September that this would be a rebuilding season, to still be a high potential for Super Bowl and to be having these hopes. We have had these hopes for the last 3-4 years, but this one looks the best. I say we look back and we see a whole breakdown of the same exact game that's going to happen in February.
Yeah.
I say we beat them and we beat them again.
Okay. So here's the thing. I agree with you. That this game is going to tell us a lot of that. It will look bad if we play the Texans, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Rams, and we lost 4 of those games. That's not going to look good.
That does look bad.
That's not going to look good.
Those teams are all playoff teams.
Right. Of course, you beat the Seahawks, you beat the Cardinals, you beat the 49ers, teams who could potentially be in the playoffs as well. You beat the Dolphins twice.
But those are all playoff hopefuls.
Those
aren't the actual
right.
teams that are
catching my drift. You catching my drift. So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to look good. So I feel like just for the sake of your legitimacy, almost you got to win this game. Because who's going to look at you as a now? If you make it a close game, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the Bills aren't Super Bowl contenders." But if you go out there and get the doors blown off you, ain't nobody gonna believe you.
I'm gonna give some pushback, because a win is a win, yes, but you have the Chiefs, that sit at 12-1.
But even as infallible as the Chiefs are,
it does not feel like they're 12-1. It feels like they're a 6-17.
Yeah.
It feels like they're 6-17, but they just squeak by. My point of bringing up the Chiefs are, even if this isn't a sizable win against the Lions, what we should be able to take away is we're Bills tough. We're able to put together a good win, because another answer I want to give to the last question you asked is, we should be able to take away what our defense is actually made of.
Yeah.
Can we stop a juggernaut?
Yeah.
Because the Lions have two superstar receivers and
two superstar running backs.
So it's like if we can stop them, we can stop anybody.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
But we have to stop them.
We
can't have 2 back-to-back weeks where teams hang 35 plus on our head.
Yeah.
And it's away. So then it's like, is it a road thing? It's going to be a lot of questions raised. And even what you just said about not beating playoff teams, the legitimacy is going to come into call. Sean McDermott's job is going to come into call. The MVP race is going to come into call. If this week doesn't go how we wanted to go.
At least reasonable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Make sense.
You got to put up a fight. You can't go up there and sleepwalk through this game.
Because Josh won't have 3-3 again. Well, give me 2 and 225.
With a dub.
And a dub.
Give it a dub. You know what I'm saying?
I'm fine with that.
All right. So before we get up out of here, we want to switch lanes a little bit. College football is wrapping up, but we are getting into the meat and potatoes. We got college football playoffs. We got bowl games happening. Absolutely. Championship weekend. We got Heisman, right? So we was in the studio. We was talking, and before we get into it, what I was going to say to you is Genty is like the Saquon Barkley to Josh Allen's Travis Hunter.
I agree. Wow. That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison.
Because it's like you got one that has deserved it for years and is this phenomenal player, and then you got one that just has a crazy season where he's like, oh, damn, he needs to be acknowledged.
And both awards are quarterback-centric.
Yeah, facts. Of course, Travis Hunter's not a quarterback, but he might as well be. He play everything else. Right. So, but who do you think going to win the Heisman Trophy this year?
I believe it goes to Travis Hunter. Your Colorado Buffs, and I believe so because of something that hasn't really been said too much in the media. Award aside, what he's doing, the level of difficulty is extreme.
I agree.
It's a high level of difficulty, even to think about his IQ, right? People that play Little League football that played both sides of the ball, people that play high school football that play both sides of the ball, but the speed of the game at the college level and having to understand and become keen with offensive playbook and the defensive playbook and be a force on both sides of the ball. I could use all the adjectives I want.
It's a 50x multiplier.
It's like there's nothing that Genty, Gabriel, or Ward could do to even kind of semi touch the level of difficulty. Like he had. I'm running with your best receiver, and I'm getting ready.
And I'm your best receiver. So, like, what I was thinking is, yo, this dude is one of the best wide receivers in the league. He should be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Oh, wait, excuse me? You say one of the best cornerbacks in the league, too? He one of the best wide receivers and one of the best corners in the entire country?
It's hard.
Oh, buddy, I don't know, man. That's different type of resume right there.
We have Genty for Boise that
boy going absolutely nuts.
Season that's second to only Barry Sanders, but
absolutely nuts.
30 plus carries a game.
Mm-hmm.
Electrifying though.
Mm-hmm.
At any moment, game breaking speed. You got Cam Ward down in Miami, really poised, pocket passer. Can be mobile if need be.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a top 5 pick. At least that's what they're projecting.
Quarterback, yeah.
And you have Gabriel, undefeated season over at Oregon. It's going to be a really tough race. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins. I give it to Travis because of level of difficulty and because of how far they brought the Buffs. All the other teams were relatively prominent before this season.
All right, we got a couple of minutes left. Two more questions. First, who wins the national championship, and then I want to know in what order are the quarterbacks picked. But first, who wins the national championship?
That's something I should have thought about before I came here. I don't want to just give it to Oregon because the way that this new format is, they would have to go.
You got to win some
Go
games.
through Texas. They would have to go through either Texas, Georgia, or somebody else. Like it would be hard, extreme level of difficulty for Oregon to do it. But they're undefeated. I think they pull it off. I think Oregon wins in that first.
I got Ohio State because I'm a fan.
Okay.
That there's absolutely nothing that makes me believe that they'll win other than I'm a fan. They've blown 2 games they should have won just because they shot themselves in the foot. So I guess that's my Bills argument. I say the only team that can beat the Bills is the Bills, and I'm usually right, except the Ravens. They absolutely walked all over us. But outside of that, we beat ourselves all the time. And in what order are Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, and I feel like he's another quarterback. Gabriel. Or what order are they picked in?
Honestly speaking, I think most coaches would say that Cam Ward is the safer pick. So, but you're asking me my answer. I'll say that then. I'll say it is gonna go Cam Ward, Shador. Okay. If I'm sorry, I'm gonna say Shador because I'm gonna go back to what we said off air. Narrative, money.
Yeah.
Narrative,
influence.
Money. Shador, Cam, then Gabriel. Even with Gabriel could possibly win a championship, he still won't. It's narrative. It's all narrative.
I think it is narrative, but excuse me. I also see it as like if you choose the safest quarterback as your pick after watching Josh Allen and CJ Stroud and all these boys, you are doing a disservice to your franchise.
Yeah.
Because Baker Mayfield looks amazing in his rookie season. He's rookie of the year, and you think you made the right pick and everything else until a big MFer in Buffalo start having 40 touchdown seasons, and now you looking like, oh damn,
every year.
Let me pay an accused sexual assault person $260 million to replace my number 1 overall pick, right? You would have to do that if you drafted Josh Allen, right? Hey, that's what they did. That's what they did. All right. All right. Last question before we get up out of here. Score prediction.
Score prediction for Sunday.
Bills Lions.
Oh, I got 28-21 Buffalo Bills.
All right, I was arrogant last time. I said 35-18, and then the Rams late 44 points. So I'm going to say I still think the Bills get 30-35, and I'm going to say the Lions get 28. I go 28-31. I'll go 28, but I still got the Bills winning because I just think that the Bills have Josh Allen.
Can't bet against him.
Yeah, Josh Allen, right? He's just out there willing points onto the scoreboard. So that's going to do it for us here at Late Night Sports. I'm Justus General Radford. Shout out to Mookie Hawkins. Enjoy your time down south, brother.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you, Coach. I have my man Jamal Lewis in the building with me, and shout out to DJ Suave. Remember, choose love, not hate. I'm still his line because it's an epic line. Wash them damn hands, man. It's a fire line, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
How's it going? I was comfortable.